is page 6 of your math journal. Okay, this is going to be in the vocabulary section, so don't start writing this right after page 70. Page 6. This is chapter 2 vocab. This is going to be a nice short and sweet one. The first one I want you to write is percent. There's a few ways we're going to write this, so we're actually going to write 3 different definitions for this. Okay, percent is a ratio compared to 100. Another one is per 100. And the other thing I want written is going to be part divided by total. And it's going to give you the percent as a decimal. Okay, now this is going to be less vocabulary because really this whole thing was about decimals, fractions, and percents. You guys know what decimals numbers are, you know what fractions are. Percent is what we were really focusing on. So instead of spending a bunch of time on words, there weren't many words other than percent that you really need to understand from here. I'm just going to do a few quick highlights of things that were important in this chapter. So, percent to decimal. Okay, percent to decimal. Is just to move the decimal. Which way? If you're going percent to decimal. So, example, 28%. For going percent to a decimal would be 0.28. So you move the decimal 2 to the left. Decimal to percent. So 1.26 with the percent sign would be 126. Actually, I'm going to put a 5 on there. 1.265 would be 126.5%. And it's moved 2 to the right. But remember that they are equal to each other. This just has a percent symbol on it, and this one does not. Alright, let's talk about going percent to fraction. There's 2 ways you can look at it. First way is to move percent to a decimal. And write it over the place value. Actually, this is the only way I really want you to think about this. So move percent to a decimal and write as fraction according to the last place value. and reduce. So, example. .5%. If I turn this into a decimal, it would be 0.025. Now I look at this place value, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I'm going to write it as 0.25, so just 25 over 1,000. And then I'm going to reduce. What goes into both 25 and 1,000? Well, 25 will go into both of those. 25 will go into 25 one time. 1,000 divided by 25. 25 goes into 100 4 times. So 25 will go into 1,040 times. So my answer would be 1/40. Okay, fraction to percent. Turn fraction into decimal. By dividing the numerator by the denominator. Just for time, I'm going to write n by denominator. So top is a numerator, right? Bottom is a denominator. And then make it a percent by moving the decimal. Okay, example, let's say you have 3/4. Some of you already know this one, and I know that, but I'm just trying to show you an example. So 3 divided by 4. 4 goes into 3, 0 times. Decimal place, annex is 0. 4 goes into 30, 7 times, minus 28. Leaves me with 2, annex another 0. 4 goes into 25 times. Minus 20 leaves me with 0. 0.75, move the decimal twice, 1, 2, and I get 75%. Alright, and last but not least, percent equation. Percent equation is whole times percent equals the part. And we've gone over how to use this, so just remember your clue words for the whole would be of, part would be is. So an example, $40 is 10% of what number? Okay, fill in what we know. 40 is my clue for part. So I'm going to write equals 40. 10%, it needs to be in its decimal form. So under here I want you to write decimal to remind you of that. In its decimal form would be 0.1 times, we don't know the whole, so I'm going to just write W for whole. Okay, this times that gave me 40, so in order to undo timesing by 0.1, I'm going to divide by 0.1. So divide by 0.1. I know some of you can do it in your head, and I'm glad for that. For those of you that can't, 40 divided by 0.1. Move the decimal one time here. I need to move it here as well. 1 goes into 400. Well, 400 times. So The whole amount was 400. Quick reminder of all of those things that we've learned in this chapter.